Okay, that's gonna be annoying. Zoom you in. I hope you guys can see me. This is like a new setup. Well, it's not new, but I literally can't see my viewfinder because it's like a new little setup we got going on here. Not really new, but basically I moved my phone mount up onto my dashboard instead of like, I don't even know what that area is called. But so I can't use my flip up screen because the top of my camera is literally touching my window. Very exciting things, I know. Why can I not turn? Thank you, bus, for letting me turn. Okay. I need to try to remember. I need to tell myself that this is a Patreon video so that I don't stop talking. Because like when I'm vlogging, I can like say things here and there, and I know I can cut stuff out. But when I do Patreon videos, it's always one take, and I just press record and I talk for like however long, usually like 30 freaking minutes. So I try to like, actually I don't even really have to try. Your girl can talk. But anyway, if you're confused, if you are on my patrons and you're like, hey, why is this on your YouTube channel and not Patreon? Allow me to explain. Why is everyone driving like a dickweed today? Yeah, okay. First of all, disclaimers that need to happen in this video. One, if my voice sounds fucky, it's because it is fucky, because I've had strep for, this is like day 5. I feel a lot better today. Yesterday and today I like started feeling a lot better. Go ahead, lady. But like the first 3 days it was like I was literally deep throating a knife 24/7. So my voice has not fully returned, though it's not that odd that I have a raspy voice, because I always have a raspy voice. It's just like a little bit more quiet, which is fine. I don't need to be yelling at my camera. Just get a little heated sometimes. Anyway, that's the first disclaimer. And I think that's the only disclaimer, actually. Let me think. This cat toy I just got. I feel as though I had another disclaimer. Can't remember. I mean, I guess I'll let you know now if you're not someone who's into, like, just casual talking, conversational, but it's more of a one-sided conversation video, then you probably won't like this. But I personally, these are my favorite videos, like my favorite videos period to watch, and that's because I usually will download them and, ow, why am I fucking bleeding? I usually download them and have them playing while I'm like driving, in which case I obviously just like listen, but like it's fine because I feel like I don't need to be watching necessarily if it's just someone like sitting in the car and talking, or I mean sitting anywhere and talking really. And I don't feel like I would never just download like a Jenna Marbles video, because like I want to watch that shit thoroughly and I need to watch it at least 10 times to get the full effect. But like I really enjoy just like driving and talking. You know, actually I'm not sure. This is my Gemini moon, Gemini rising. I have 2 separate not personalities, like 2 separate brains, and they're constantly just like, so it seems like I contradict myself a lot, because I do, but it's self 1 contradicting self 2. That rhymed. I really just like watching Trisha Paytas, just in general, but like I love how, if you guys watch her, lately on her vlog channel, since all the drama went down, and I don't even know if she's still with Jason. If she is, they're not putting that out there at all. Seems like they're not, because they're not like, she vlogs like every day, and then you never see them spending time together, whereas they used to spend time together a lot. But anyway, since that whole thing happened, she's been going back to like her old, you know, independent self, where she does a lot of like vlogging in her car and talking, and vlogging at her apartment, and she just does really long vlogs, and she's like talking all throughout them, and that's my favorite style of vlog, I think. And like, that's why I was gonna say maybe not, maybe it's just because I like Trisha Paytas, but I don't think so. I think, am I going the right way? You guys, I just started driving somewhere else on autopilot, but I'm not going there right now, okay? Thanks a lot. It's your fucking fault. No, that's okay. I can go this way. But, because I guess she's like one of the only people that does it, really. I mean, I know there's other people that just do like long vlogs, but like, are there really that many people that do what she does? I don't think so, because one would think that it would be really fucking boring. Like from, oh no, from like the creator standpoint, like me sitting here making this, in the back of my mind the whole time, it's like, why would anyone want to? Sir, why are you letting this lady cross? What the heck? You can't just stop in the middle of a freaking... Hello? You can't just stop in the middle of nowhere on PCH and let a person who's not even in a rush cross the freaking street, not on a crosswalk. Anyway, you probably... I don't even know if you can see me now because this lighting is so wonky. Don't think I've ever said that word before. But yeah, like, it's always in the back of my head, like, this is stupid, this is not gonna get people's attention, like, but I also know that, number one, a lot of my audience is similar to me, at least, like, the things that I enjoy, and, like, sense of humor, I don't know, just in some way. I mean, you have to be, otherwise I don't know how you can watch my videos, but, it still feels like, I don't know, it feels kind of like, who would like literally subscribe to a channel to just watch me sit in my car and talk for 30 minutes, but like I said, those are like my favorite videos, and I've been doing this on Patreon now for almost 2 years. Well, not almost 2 years. I started it, well, I guess I started it in June of 2017, so yeah, coming up on 2 years. And it didn't used to always be what it is now. It's probably been what it is now for like a year and a half, where I do, in my head I aim for daily, but I say 3 to 4 times a week, just so that I make sure I'm at least getting 4 times a week, and if more, that's even better. But videos on my Patreon for the $5 tier and up, so everyone that pledges $5 a month gets these like daily, or what's the word for 4 times a week? I don't think there is one. Ooh, there's a Trader Joe's. I really want to go to Trader Joe's. It's probably super busy though. Yeah, it is. Gets my 4 times, or however many times. I'd say it's like, it ranges from 3 on like a bad week to, there were 2, I specifically remember there were 2 weeks, I think in like December, where I did 2 weeks straight every day. But, you know, whatever. So I've been doing that for so long that I've kind of, at least with Patreon, I've, for the most part, gotten rid of the, like, just like the insecurity and the doubts of, no one's gonna want to watch this if I'm just sitting here talking. But then, like, I don't know, it's, on Patreon, it's like, well, that's, people are literally telling me that they want to be here for it. Like, that is what them pledging to support me is. I mean, for a majority of them, I would assume. I know that there's some people who pledge just to support, and like, they don't really care that much about viewing the daily content, but they do want to like support me. In fact, I'm gonna do a Patreon video after this, because I have, I don't know, I just have some things I want to talk about that I think are important. But anyway, not really the point of this, kind of. But So it's like, yeah, on Patreon, like I'm comfortable doing it, pulling out my phone or camera every day and just like rambling and talking about what's going on in my life and like stuff that I can't talk about on YouTube. I mean, that is the purpose of my Patreon, and that is why I created it in the first place, was because I had a story to tell. It was actually the day that I moved to LA, or the day after, I guess, I made the Patreon, but I had a story that I really, really wanted to tell and like kind of needed to, because it was like consuming me, but I could not put it on YouTube 100%. Could not do that for so many reasons. Number one, for like YouTube policy reasons. Number two, for the law, like it would have been illegal. And in fact, that first Patreon video I made has been since taken down because my lawyer told me, you need to fucking put that on private, you dumbass, you can't talk about that yet. But that is where my Patreon started. It was like, I want to be able to talk about things that I can't put on YouTube, and then for whatever fucking stupid reason, it's even scarier now, but like I had 2 strikes on YouTube at one point, and I swear it's like, why am I getting flagged for things that like other people are doing? I don't understand. Like I literally, oh, I had to turn. I had a video called Eating Tide Pods, but I wasn't eating Tide Pods. I literally talked about, it was a vlog. I talked about for like 10 seconds about, because it was when that whole thing was going on, about like how crazy it is and like who would fucking eat a Tide Pod. Like, don't do that, it's stupid, blah blah blah, and like YouTube flagged that, and I was like, okay, cool, like did you even, no? Okay. And so then that's when I started doing the daily videos, is because I was so scared to put anything that was like even remotely like possibly flaggable to get a channel strike, because then my channel would have been taken down if I got one more strike. And this is the exact reason I typically film my Patreon videos on my cell phone, because my camera overheats like every 10 minutes, like no matter what, it just always does. It's just an old camera. I need to get a new one. I just had to spend thousands of dollars on fixing my car, so that's not happening anytime soon. But anyway, I think I was talking about like strikes and stuff, and why I started my Patreon, and I actually recently got a strike on my channel, again, for no fucking reason. Love YouTube. But it's like, I don't know, I'm torn. Like, I love YouTube, and for like the opportunities it's brought me, and I love editing like really intricately, and there's just so many things I love about it, but then like there's so many things that are fucked with it. But then like Patreon, I don't know, Patreon, I feel like I just value it more at this point, not even because of like the people that are pledging to support me, because like obviously I'm so fucking grateful for that, like it wouldn't exist if it weren't for those people, but more so for like my freedom to basically do whatever. Even like with Patreon, I gotta get over, stop it. With Patreon, like you're technically, if you're like an 18 plus Patreon, which is, okay, where the hell did this parking lot go? It's like they just got rid of it. Olive Garden, what are you doing? Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if you can see that, but this whole parking lot is like scooped out. Anyway, 18 plus Patreon, like you can do that. It's fine, but they won't advertise it, I think, or something along those lines, which is weird because like I don't ever see. Well, I guess maybe like if you pledge to someone, it'll be like, oh, they're similar to this creator, and they'll list like 3 people. And so like if you were 18 plus, then that wouldn't be the case. But like honestly, I doubt that's even helping. I doubt that I've had anyone pledge to me, just because it's like, you might like this person. Because like personally, I'm only currently pledged to one person. I was pledged to a few, but I'm only pledged to Trisha right now. In fact, and I'm probably gonna unpledge if she doesn't like start posting again, because for a while she was doing this whole like daily vlogging thing like on her phone, which she thought was this like revolutionary idea, and I'm like, girl, like I've been doing that for so long. But like I get it, she doesn't fucking, actually she doesn't know who I am. I shouldn't say that, but But like as far as like Patreon recommending me someone, like no thanks. Like the point is I'm only gonna support people that I really like. So like if I just see a name recommended to me, I'm not gonna be like, yes, let me spend my money on them. I hope this lighting is okay. I don't know. Okay, my car has been noisy. It's about to stop. I hope you can see me too. I'm not quite sure. What was I even saying? Oh, 18 plus stuff. Well, so the way that I have my Patreon right now, and the reason I'm kind of doing this video, is because since I'm like, sorry, there's something really weird happening with my finger right here. You know, like, sometimes when you get a pizza and there's like a bubble in the crust, and then like if you like pull it open, it's just like, obviously it's just like air, but then it's just like this big bubble skin. I like have that happening on my finger right now. Like I saw like a bump, so I like went like that, and like it's like a pizza bubble. Anyway, yum. Speaking of disgusting stories, my Patreon yesterday, the day before yesterday, I told probably the most descriptive and gross story you might ever hear in your lifetime. But it's interesting to me, and it's happening to me, so it's probably why it's not very gross to me. But anyway, since I'm not like a niche channel, or like brand for that matter, like it's sort of, my brand is sort of me. I'm not, you know, like a beauty guru, I'm not like a fitness person, I'm not a, what is the word I'm looking for? I was gonna say a person who cooks things, a chef, a bake, like I don't know, like I'm not like a niche. I was for a while. I just don't like doing that to myself, so like this is not me complaining about that. Like I like just my brand being just me, because then it kind of just gives me so much more freedom to, I don't know, you see it a lot when I used to watch like fitness people like years ago, and then they would put out like a monthly favorites video, and all their comments would be like, don't do this, like this is not why we subscribed. I was just like, that's a scary thing to like think that you could be put into a box forever, and then like if you were to want to change your content, you kind of couldn't, because people would be like, this is not what I came here for. Whereas with me, you go on my channel, you do not know what you're gonna get. Say that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. I don't know. But it's like I have more freedom to, yeah, and people typically see me as like a beauty channel, which I find interesting, because how? Like literally how? I've done like a few makeup videos, but they're never like tutorials or like me saying, it's usually just like me getting ready while talking about other stuff. But yeah, the majority of PR I get is like beauty stuff. I don't know how really that happened, I guess just because when you're a girl, it's kind of just assumed, but whatever. Where was I going with that? Oh, because of that, because of my brand being me, a lot of people are confused about Patreon, and like Patreon has become a lot bigger over the past year. Like you have seen so many creators move to Patreon, or not move, but like, why did the analogy of, you know, when you want to like move a photo from like your desktop into like your downloads, so you can like click it on the desktop and then drag it to downloads, but you can also right click it and do copy to, and then move it to downloads, so it'll stay on your desktop and go to your downloads. It's like the creators stayed on YouTube, but they also moved to Patreon. They didn't move. I don't know why that was the analogy that just popped into my head. I was thinking about like dragging from YouTube to Patreon, but then like instead of doing that, like copying YouTube, and okay. Anyway, Patreon has gotten a lot bigger, and so it's different. It's a little bit easier now, but like not easier, but just like more mainstream now. It's not super mainstream, but at the beginning people were like, I don't get it, what do you do? What, like, well, first of all, what is Patreon? Second of all, how does this work? Third of all, what do you do? Like, I don't get it. Why didn't you just post it on YouTube? And now people pretty much know what Patreon is. They know someone that has one, but they're still confused about like what I'm offering, because like I'm not putting up like custom art, or like I'm not doing, you know, it's like, it's hard. And so I do the daily videos, and I do like polls and posts, and when I launched my merch, like I put it there a week or so before. I'm like sweating, sorry, I have to put my car on. Why is it suddenly hot in Manhattan Beach? Shush. What the fuck was I saying? I hate my brain. Patreon. Oh, yeah, so it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. And if I say like, yeah, I do this for this tier, obviously it's different for every tier too, right? So like, if you're on the $20 tier, you get obviously everything from the below tiers, the daily videos, all that stuff, but you also get the like once a week like extra juicy videos. So same sort of like setting, like me sitting in my car or sitting somewhere and talking or telling a story, or I did a sex Q&A a couple weeks ago, which was really funny. But it's just more like, it's more of the content that like I don't want everyone to see, so it wouldn't go on YouTube, and also probably wouldn't be allowed to. But I also don't want to put it on my $5 tier, because there's people there. Basically, I had an issue in the beginning of people like re-uploading my videos from Patreon to YouTube, which obviously is not cool because people are paying for that. But I feel like on the $20 tier, that hasn't been an issue, because I don't feel like someone who like hates me or whatever is trying to fuck with me would pledge that level. So I just have it be, I have the more like, I don't really want everyone to know this, but like I trust you guys. I put those stories on that tier. It's kind of just like how if you have a friend you don't really trust, you wouldn't tell them like your deepest secret, but you would tell like the person that you trust the most, but you'd still like, you know, spill some tea with the other friend, whatever. I don't know why I'm trying to like, dude, the lady that did my nails like really fucked with like my fingers. Anyway, oh no, is this gonna happen again? Before I started filming this, the lady next to me in her car got in her car at the same time as me. And you know, I assumed she would leave, as most people do when they get in their car, unless they're me. So we were having like, but she didn't. She, like, it had been like 5 minutes past, 7 minutes past. We're both just sitting in our cars. I don't even, surprise, my camera overheated again. Yay! This is why I can't fucking see. This is why I use my phone. I always forget what the fuck I'm saying when I have to wait for my camera to cool off. I know I was talking about Patreon, but basically, I guess, let me just stop talking about everything and get to like the point. Or did I already say the point? I can't quite remember. Anyway, I'll say it again if so. Oh, you know what? I was telling the story. I was telling the story about the lady in the car. She wasn't leaving, and so we were both sitting in there, and we were having like a literal standoff. Well, like a sit-off. You know, choose your verb. And so I got so antsy just sitting there that I finally just left, and that same thing just was happening. That lady left though. Anyway, not important. I wanted to make this video and put it on my YouTube channel. Even though it might seem sort of out of place, you know, I don't edit my Patreon videos at all. The only edits in this one will be me like putting the clips together since my camera kept shutting off. But yeah, so I wanted to be able to, I don't know, like maybe shed some light on what goes on my Patreon. Obviously these videos aren't it, like it's not all it is, but it's a good portion of it, and you know, it's something that I do almost every day as often as I can. So yeah, if you were curious about my Patreon, and if you were curious, or if you knew what it was and you were just like not really sure if it was worth it or not for you, basically I talk about what's going on in my life, in my personal life, and it's something that I've really strayed away from on YouTube, if you haven't noticed. I used to kind of be like all about that. I would really just like sit down and talk, or like let you guys know what's going on like personally, not like, what's an example? Well, like my last video was hair extensions, right? And then the one before that, it was like I was in Vegas and it was like a Gucci unboxing. So it's like, yeah, it's my life, but like my Patreon is really just like actually talking about what's actually going on. And I think if you're wondering if it's worth it for you, if you're someone who like is often commenting and asking about certain things, or yeah, like certain things with my personal life, I think the Patreon would be worth it for you to join. And if you don't like it, you can like cancel, and it's not a big deal. I understand that like not all of my freaking subscribers are going to be on Patreon, and I wouldn't want them all to be on Patreon, to be honest, because like I said, like I treat it as if it's like my group of friends, or like just like close friends that I can like tell literally everything to. But yeah, I don't know, I personally like I was saying earlier, like I like how Trisha vlogs and talks about like just like what's going on in her life, like her struggles and what she's working on, and of course like you see like funny moments throughout the day and stuff. But I don't know, I figure, and I know actually, since my Patreon has been successful for a pretty long time now, that I'm not the only one that feels that way, that like there are people who really enjoy and value getting to see like a completely different side, or maybe just like more in depth, more deep into the creator or creators that they really like, or that they enjoy watching, or whatever it is. My fingers are having issues. I don't know, I personally think it just makes you feel more connected to them. I don't know, when you know how someone like thinks, and how, not even just how they think, but like what goes on in their life like outside of YouTube, because I don't show that on YouTube anymore, I think it just makes us more empathetic people in general. But like, I don't know, especially toward like that person, like it's just very eye-opening, and I don't know, I just think it's cool, and I should stop rambling. Now I'm having a standoff with these people next to me. What's up? I'm gonna wait here all day. Actually, it's a really cute old couple. Yeah, so that's that. Those are the daily videos. Obviously, I wanted this to be kind of an example of what you would get on my Patreon, and a lot of it turned out to be me talking about Patreon, which I didn't necessarily want. But if you're on my Patreon, you know that I start pretty much every video with like me having a topic in my mind that I want to talk about, and then I literally don't. It's just like a series of tangents and stories, and then like stories within stories, and then sometimes I don't even come back around to the initial thing. So I'm not surprised that this happened, but yeah, I don't know, it's what the kids call tea. Actually, you know, I noticed people older than me using that term, so I don't really know what to think about that. But it's my actual life. It's me like coming on here and making videos even when I'm so not okay, and like, yeah, I don't know, it's really cool. Also for my Patreon, something I don't ever promote ever, because
I have a feeling it'll like fuck up my, well, if I like put it on YouTube. I'm just like freaking scared of putting like anything on YouTube now, but because I already have a strike, and they just changed their whole policy to where now if you get a strike, you're like suspended for 2 weeks. If you get 2 strikes, you like lose certain privilege. Is it like you lose like the live stream privilege and you're suspended for a month or something? I don't know, I never live stream, but and then 3rd strike, your channel's just automatically deleted, which is so stupid. I got that first strike like a couple days before they implemented the policy, so like I didn't get the 2-week suspension, but still, it's just, it scares me. But it's why I haven't talked about it on YouTube, but on my Patreon, since I don't want to be considered an 18+ Patreon, though at this point I'm starting to think like it might not even matter. I have a tier on Patreon that's for joining my private Snapchat, and if you pledge to that tier, obviously you get all the other benefits. A lot of people don't really care about all the other benefits, they just want the private Snapchat, but you know, whatever. And basically that has just now kind of turned into like whatever the people that are pledging, or whatever the people that have my private Snapchat for that month, like it's whatever they want. So my private Snapchat originally started out like on a lower tier, and it was where I would actually like talk to people, snap people back, because my like personal Snapchat, like I don't even usually open stuff because it's just like overwhelming because there's a lot, and usually if I'm like, oh, let me open some, it's like dick. So I don't like to do that. But then my Snapchat turned into, well, I was just getting requests from people, like, you know how, what the heck, like people would be asking for like feet pictures or whatever, and like if someone would DM me on Instagram and ask for feet pictures, like I would be like, well, you can add my private Snapchat and like I'll add you back, and then like I'll send you a feet picture, and that'll be like worth your $10 or whatever. Which I watched that video that that girl put out about how to sell pictures of your feet, and she said that you should start each foot at like $30 or something, and if you have like extra cute, extra special feet, you should start even higher. And I have extra cute, extra special feet, so I'm like, this could be an opportunity. But anyway, and then like as I was allowing that into my Snapchat, I was obviously getting people that were like, send me a picture of your boobs, do this, do that. Obviously, like as like an influencer, you get a lot of that anyway, like on Instagram, but like, no, I'm not just gonna like DM you back a picture of my boobs. If someone's like, can I pay you to see your boobs? I used to be like, no, but like all my shit's out there now, and so I just don't care. So I made the private Snapchat just a higher tier, again, to like kind of protect my privacy, but you know what I mean, like where I know that the people there aren't gonna just like save everything and like re-upload it somewhere else, because that just ruins it for everyone. Alright, I'm gonna end this quick because not only is my camera overheating every 5 seconds, but my battery's dying. I also don't know if you could see me, sorry. That's kind of the quality that you get. Snapchat, private Snapchat. Yeah, just to keep it more like contained, because then it ruins it for everyone. If someone's just re-uploading stuff, it's like, okay, that's not exclusive anymore because now everyone can get it. So yeah, I did that, and that's been really cool, and I stay on top of that. So like every month, if someone like deletes their pledge, I obviously remove them from the Snapchat. If someone pledges, I immediately add them or accept their request, whatever. And then there's also a tier above that, which like if you're curious, you can totally ask me. I get questions about it, but like it's more just like request based, whereas like the private Snapchat, it's like I'll post on the story and like I'll snap people back and stuff. But like if people want like more in-depth things, I don't really know how to explain it. It's not porn, so like don't get it twisted, but it's just more like personalized. Say like if someone wanted me to like cover my foot in peanut butter, that type of thing. But yeah, so the Snapchat, private Snapchat, I'm calling it 18 plus because some of it, a lot of it is, but it's also like, it's just more me unfiltered, I guess. So yeah, but my actual Patreon, a lot of people, okay, let's finish this. My actual Patreon, a lot of people would join it and like be kind of confused about the tiers, and so they would pledge like a certain tier, and then they would be like, okay, add me to the Snapchat, and I'd be like, well, you didn't pledge that tier. Or they would pledge to the daily videos tier, and then once they saw that it was like this kind of content, like literally me just talking about my life and like, I don't know, just like unfiltered every day, they were like, this is not what I thought. Like, I thought you were gonna be fucking like naked dancing around. Like, why? No, but also like private Snapchat. So yeah, I wanted to clear that up. I also wanted to like, I didn't do a very good job of it, but like give an example of the content that goes on my Patreon. I guess you don't really need like an example. It's just me talking about my life and like my struggles, and yeah, there's just a lot of shit. I actually had planned on talking about like, okay, I'm angry with my camera. I usually have my phone flipped the other way, so you're not seeing so much of my other seat, but whatever. Angry with my camera, literally reheating every minute. Or, reheating? This is not a pizza. Overheating every minute. But, I was gonna finish this anyway. Of course, I don't remember what the fuck I was saying. I can't remember. Like right when the camera dies, or when it says battery hot, I'm like, okay, I just said this. Like I'm gonna continue off that thought. I have no idea. Oh, I remember. I was gonna have this video that I upload to YouTube be like literally filmed as if it were a Patreon video, and me, oh no, is that about to fall? My mount was about to fall because it's like in the sun and the stickiness is whatever. I was gonna film it as if like it were a Patreon video with no explanation as to like why I was doing it, and just like talk about what the fuck is going on with my life right now. It seems like every day, because I do these so often, it's like there's always a big thing that I have to talk about. But I was gonna talk about specifically for YouTube, because I keep seeing this comment. It's interesting because it's been a while. I also like didn't really talk about it much on like YouTube or anything. It like talked about it on Patreon quite a few times, and like what was going on behind the scenes. But people asking about my breakup with Keenan, and then like really weird that like I saw like on one of my recent videos, I feel like one that I posted yesterday, someone commented and they were like, hey, like I'm not on your Patreon, but have you ever talked about what happened with you and Keenan breaking up? And then someone like replied and they were like, yeah, she did. He left her because he couldn't handle her bipolar episodes. And I was like, where the fuck did that get pulled out of? Like, I literally, I have no idea. Like, that could not, like, all of that could not be more false. First of all, I'm not bipolar in any way, shape, or form. Like, 1000% not. Second of all, he didn't just, you paid 99 cents to iTunes and App Store, okay. He didn't leave me. Yeah, see, I was gonna talk about this today. So now I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just fucking do that on Patreon today. But yeah, no, I think that was just like a troll being weird, because like that was just a weird, like, out of left field thing. Like, what? Oh man, it's just so far from the truth. Like, yeah, no, I'm not bipolar, but also like I did everything for that person in this relationship, and like gave them everything, was everything, forgave them so many times, was so kind, so forgiving. I already said that. And they like were so abusive and not good, and I just kept putting up with it for so long. So it was just like, I don't know, man, but I was gonna talk about that anyway, because yeah, like I never did like a proper video on YouTube, but like I didn't want to. Sorry, I'm like holding this mount up so it doesn't fall. I didn't want to because like when we broke up, like we were still talking and like seeing each other, and then like we broke up again, like cut off whatever it was again, and then we like started seeing each other again. So like it was never like a clear cut to where I could be like, yeah, we broke up, this is why, because I kept getting like sucked back in. I'm not gonna like label things here on YouTube, but like I kept getting sucked back into like this cycle and thinking things were different and then things not being different, whatever, up until like very recently. And so yeah, like it's now I can officially like for sure say like, yeah, we're broken up and like that's it. But at the time I was like, I can't make this video and like explaining why when like we're still having contact, we're still like, I'm still like getting yelled at every day because I'm like trying to make things work. Anyway, that's what I was gonna talk about in this video, but then I was like, when I started it, I was like, okay, maybe I should give some background as to why I'm uploading a video like this on my YouTube channel, because it's not the norm. And honestly, it makes me really anxious, and it makes some of my obsessive compulsive tendencies, no, I don't have OCD, but some of my tendencies like really anxious, because all my other videos are like edited and like nice and like, yeah, and this is not going to be edited at all, which is how my Patreon videos are, which is fine. Like they're not, one's not better than the other, honestly, but it's like just because of my channel is a certain way, throwing this thing into the mix makes me a little anxious, but that's okay. I wanted to get this out here because there are questions about my Patreon, and I want to make sure that you have the answers. That guy looks like my high school media literacy teacher, Mr. Oates. Okay, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments. I genuinely want to know, because like I also feel like I need to know. I don't know, I just want to know, like, am I the only one that feels this way? Like, do you enjoy watching or listening to while you like clean, or maybe like you're a mom and you like to like have videos playing while you're like doing what moms do, which is everything, but like, do you like the videos where they're just kind of more unedited and more like raw and like rambly and just talking and less like production? Yeah, and then like, if not, like what videos are your favorite to watch? And like, I don't know, just like give me some insight if you feel like it on like what it looks like for you to like watch a YouTube video, because I know a lot of people will watch them like while they eat, or like I said, like in the background as background noise, or while they drive. I know I always have background noise in my apartment just because I get like weird by silence, so I always have videos playing in the background, always, and they're normally videos that I've watched before, because I find so much comfort in like rewatching or re-listening to like Jenna's videos or Trisha's videos, Julian's videos, like, or Brandy TV. She's so fucking funny. But like, even if I'm not listening, even if I'm not watching or paying attention, like to just have sound going while I'm doing other things, I like that. If there's a video that like I really want to watch, which there's usually like 2 or 3 a week from like the people that I really like, or when Trisha's uploading every day, it's like Christmas every day, but those I will usually watch. What the heck? Why did like one random piece of my gum just detach? But yeah, just let me know like kind of what it looks like. Like, do you have like a dedicated time where you sit and like catch up on YouTube? Do you kind of just do it whenever you have a second, or like throughout the day, or like is there, you know, just let me know if you feel like it. You don't have to. I realize I don't even know what I just asked you to do, so. Okay. I'm actually, if you can see, not that man, but the sign next to that man, I'm at Coffee Bean because I have some work to do, but I figured since I don't have to edit this, I can just put it all in my Final Cut put them all together because there's so many fucking little clips, and then upload it to YouTube and put it up. Because for Patreon, that's how it is. I literally film it on my phone. Once I get to my destination, I start uploading it to YouTube, and then I post it unlisted to YouTube. Then I post it to Patreon. So it's like same day videos. And that's what I'm gonna do right now. So yeah. I don't need to end this like one of my traditional videos. This is not a traditional video. So have a oh no, it's flying! Dang it.